Back with more Keanu-thon, and today I'll be talking about reviewing the 1995 film A Walk in the Clouds. And this was a good one. Now, romance, yeah, it's not a go-to genre for me. I'm more of an action guy, horror guy. I would say action's my favorite genre. But there are some romance films that I do like. I mean, Ghost, of course, Patrick Swayze, classic. I like, Starman, even though I know that has elements of sci-fi. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that's a great movie. So, I mean, there are some romance films out there that I do like. And Walk on the Clouds, again, this was a good movie. And basically the story here is you have the soldier, Paul Sutton, played by Keanu Reeves. He's back from the war, back home. And he barely knows his wife, who's played by Deborah Messing. And, she doesn't care about Keanu, but one day while traveling, Keanu's character meets this woman, Victoria, on the road, and Victoria's pregnant, and she's afraid of, going back home to her family and her father, who's overprotective because, her pregnancy's wedlock, it came from another person, and that's when Keanu Reeves' character steps in and takes her back home to her family, and that's where he begins to fall in love with this woman. And that's the story pretty much with this film. And like I said, it's a good story. I mean, okay, when I talk about the cast, again, Keanu Reeves, which I know I've said before in my review of Bram Stoker's Dracula, that Keanu's not, when it comes to period type of movies, like time period films, I will say Keanu's good here. It's not like he's putting on, he's not putting on an accent like he did in Dracula. Keanu Reeves, I thought, did good in this movie, a good dramatic performance. Again, he's not trying to put on an accent, but I thought Keanu was good here as his character Paul Sutton. Again, good dramatic performance. You have this woman, Victoria, who Keanu falls in love with, and I don't know why I didn't get this actress's name, but let me pull it up here. Um, Let me pull up the cast. Should have had that ready, but oh well. Victoria played by, I'm going to mess this up, but Aitana Sánchez-Gijón. Again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. I thought she was a good actress, and likable. Like, it was a sweet performance from this actress. This woman was sweet, and I thought she did good in the film. Anthony Quinn as the grandfather. Great actor. He's in the film. You also have the father in the film who, and that's the one thing about the film that gets me is his father, throughout the film, he's such a dick to, Keanu's character. What are you doing here? You won't be part of this family, that whole thing. You've seen that before. And I've seen this actor before, Giancarlo Giannini, who plays the father in the film. He was in Quantum of Solace, Casino Royale before that. He had Men on Fire. He was in that. I recognized him. I've seen him before. And, like I said, not a bad actor. I mean, he's a good actor, but it's just this character in this film is a dick, and it's like, come on, I mean. But you kind of see that with every romance film. The father's, overprotective, a dick. Getting back to the cast. Go back here for a second. Deborah Messing's in the film. It's her debut role. Freddie Rodriguez is in the film as the brother of Victoria. And this guy you've seen before. He was in Planet Terror. He was in Poseidon, the reboot. So I recognized him. Some other, cast members in the film I don't recognize, but I thought the acting was fine. The actors do fine. And the film was directed by Alfonso Arau. Now, That may not sound familiar, but the guy, he played El Guapo in Three Amigos. And I know he's went on, I think, to direct other films. A lot of them haven't seen, and this film was also written by Robert Mark Kamen, who wrote the Karate Kid films, and Mark Walter. And I thought, again, the story was good here. It was a sweet story, and then I will say one thing about the film too. It looks great. I mean, it's a great looking movie. Um, like the way that the director, uh, like certain shots in the film of the landscape, because it's in Mexico, and it has that, the film has this Mexican, backdrop to it, and with the landscape and the land and the way certain shots are set up. It's a great looking movie, and it's definitely, and it's also too like some of the flashback scenes, because you do have some scenes in the film where Keanu's character has flashbacks to the war, and I thought those were well shot. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this film and I'm like, there's some really good shots in this movie. It's a beautiful looking movie. Again, especially like I said, with the landscape and the land, and this Mexican, the Hispanic backdrop, if you will. I enjoyed that. And I know Roger Ebert, this is one of his favorite films of 1995. I wrote this down here. It was number 10 on the list of his best films of that year. And I know also too, I wrote this down, that during the making of this film, Keanu was dealing with an injury from a game of hockey with his friends during his spare time, where he had split his lip and required 6 stitches. Funny enough, which I'm reviewing Chain Reaction next, they also mention how, during that time, Keanu, got hurt playing hockey. It seems like around this time, Keanu was getting hurt playing hockey. And yeah, so I think he got hurt before making Chain Reaction. So, I don't know what happened there. But it says right here that there was he split his lip, requiring 6 stitches. In his next scheduled scene, a love scene with Deborah Messing, he was quoted as saying to her, "Please don't hurt me." And I know later on too, with this film, and a couple of years ago, Deborah Messing alleged sexual harassment from the film's producers and director before and during filming. So, I hope that's not true. What happened there? But yeah, I was trying to think what else to mention. I mean, the budget is 20 million, made 50 million at the box office, and yeah, it came out in August of '95. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I can really add to this. I mean, I will say at the end of the day, it's a good movie. It's a good romantic film. I mean, yeah, and then also too, which I forgot to mention, like I mentioned before, how the father, this character is a dick in the film throughout, and it gets to a point in the end where he gets into a fight with Keanu Reeves, and because he's drunk and stuff, and long story short, he burns down the whole vineyard. I'm like, really? It's like you're such a dick that by the end of the film, you burn the whole vineyard. Was it worth it? I mean, and again, I know it's a movie. It's just one of those things where it's like, but again, at the end of the day, because I don't know what else to really add to this review. It's a good movie. It's a good movie with good performances. Again, good dramatic performance from Keanu Reeves. The supporting cast was good. Anthony Quinn, again, was the grandfather in the film. He was good in the film. Good direction from Alfonso Arau. Again, you may know him as El Guapo from Three Amigos. Yeah, that same guy directed this film. And good story. It's a sweet story. And Yeah, I mean, it's not like Keanu, again, like I mentioned this before, this takes place around World War II, so I think Keanu can do dramatic performances like this. I think it's just, when he tries to put on an accent or, something like that, it just doesn't work. But yeah, that's my review of Walk in the Clouds. Again, a good movie and good dramatic performances. And again, once again, it's a lot of great shots in the film. It's a beautiful looking film, and so yeah, that's my review of A Walk in the Clouds. And next, I'll be reviewing Chain Reaction. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you later.